Hello, I'm your host Jim McClean. Welcome back to another episode of the Banterflix Movie Review Show. Let's see what movies we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be reviewing Ghostface's latest big screen outing in Scream 7. Q Radio's Connor Brennan shares his thoughts on Disney Pixar's Hopper, which is out in cinemas now. I'll be chatting with TV presenter Konnie Huq about the importance of teaching more real-world AI skills in school. Our pick of the streams is the Spanish thriller Firebreak on Netflix. And we'll continue to showcase local film groups here, so we chat about Ormeau Community Cinema's screening of The Big Lebowski. So that's what we've lined up for you this week. Joining me in the studio here in Belfast, it'll be Gavin Moriarty.
Hey Jim.
And Zara Jackson.
Hey Jim.
Hello to you both. As always, packed show, so the formalities are over and done with. Let's get stuck into some movie news.
There's a serial killer on the loose.
Hello, Tuesday.
I had been preparing for this for years. Hello, Mother.
Should we hug?
I really want to, but I'm a Republican now, so I'm supposed to be racist.
Oh, girl, I think all white people are racist anyway. Come here.
Okay. Oh.
So that's a look at the trailer for Scary Movie 6. I know we're going to be talking about Scream 7 in just a moment, but the trailer has now dropped for this. It's going to be out in June. The Wayans brothers are back in creative control of the series. I think they stepped away after 3, possibly even 2. David Zucker was in creative control for a while, of course from the Naked Gun movies, etc. But now they're back, promising to offend in any way possible. There's a lot of movie references within this trailer. Zara, I'll start with you. Are you a fan of the Scary Movie franchise? Are you excited by a return for this parody franchise?
I would say I'm a fan of the parody element of these films. I think I probably finished off at number 3. I don't think I've seen some of the latest ones. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they'll do with this now that the Wayans brothers are back and how they will bring it into 2026 and make it relevant to films that have been out in the last, I suppose, however long since the last one. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they'll parody some of the recent horror films, and I think it should be good fun, if, as you say, mildly offensive.
Part of me is worried, have we seen a lot of the best stuff within the trailer? But Gavin, you're sitting there very kind of measured, and I'm intrigued to see, where are you going to weigh in on this? Are you excited?
I was never really a fan of them, but I've seen, I think, at least up to 3 anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it looks fine. I'll probably go see it. You know, it's not like the most the dumbest comedy. It's the lowest common denominator, which is fine. Sometimes you kind of need that. And they probably have given maybe the best stuff away in the trailer, like. But yeah, it looks like fun. Yeah, we need a bit of like lightheartedness and
in the world we find ourselves currently in. Where I guess a lot of us are a bit depressed with the news, everything. I think, some silly fun is going to be the least of our worries. So yes, that's going to be out in cinemas in June. We're going to move on now to something that we've all seen, but we're going to stick with a scary movie.
This is it.
Can't believe we're staying at the Psycho Killer B&B.
Oh, that's so cool. It's a motion detector.
Gavin, I'll come to you first, because I think your exact comment, I think when I said this is one of the movies we were going to talk about, you said, this looks dumb, this should be fun. So there we go. You've already said you're in the mood for some dumb fun. Did Scream 7 deliver?
I was pleasantly surprised by it, given that it's the 7th entry in a franchise that makes fun of horror movies that go on too long, arguably. I mean, it's The thing that I suppose with all the Scream movies is it's always that intro, and how good is the intro? The intro is actually pretty strong. It's not bad, and it does sort of. I think it has a nice. I know you're probably going to disagree, but I think it has a nice flow to it, up until we get to the reveal stuff, which is kind of stupid. But without saying any more, it didn't really. And there's other stuff that leads up to that, to the reveals, that don't really make a lot of sense. But story-wise, anyway. But they're meant to get the audience going, ah. But it just doesn't quite make any sense. But I mean, I like the new additions to the cast. I thought they were pretty good. I quite like Joel McHale because I'm a big Community fan. And The Soup. Who remembers The Soup? But
you remember The Soup.
I remember The Soup, clearly. Yeah, I mean, it's a surprisingly strong entry, but not without a lot of flaws.
Okay, well, I went in with very little expectations, and I was not pleasantly surprised. I do think it has its moments of I just want to hold my head in the cinema seat. Without going into spoilers, there's a use of AI, and I just think it's a buzzword around Hollywood now. So it's like, we need to get AI into our movies. It's here. I just don't quite buy it. It's a way of bringing older faces back. I like the fact that they're clearly having fun with some of the kills. I know it makes me sound like a very grim person, but there is one, I have to admit, involving a beer tab. I did laugh out loud, much to the disgust of my lovely wife. But I just think once it gets to the revelations at the end, it's like, oh, really? Okay, it's very, for me it was very obvious, because who is the most well-known cast member in this movie beyond the principal cast? Kevin Williamson as the director, love him as a screenwriter. I just thought it was a cookie cutter of a horror movie. There wasn't much inspiration from behind the camera. Zara, I've ranted, well, I haven't ranted, I've just kind of went off on one. You've already talked earlier on, you're not a huge horror movie fan. You're semi-excited for Scary Movie 6. What was your thoughts on Scream 7?
I didn't mind this. I found it quite fun. I definitely think that I tried to look at it objectively, in that if it wasn't part of this franchise as a standalone film, how do I feel about it? And it didn't really excite me as that. But I think that the theme of nostalgia was used really well. I think this kind of idea of looking back and being self-referential is always something that they try to do in those films. And the return of Neve Campbell was, I think it's interesting what they did. They kind of did what Halloween did, in that they have this idea of generations now of family and daughters, and this idea of trauma and all these kind of things that have been looked at in other ways. But I thought that was interesting. I liked that angle of it. I found it a little bit forgettable. Like, I saw it 2 days ago, and apart from the set pieces that I really enjoyed, I'm sort of struggling to remember quite what happened. I really liked the idea of the panic room and the stuff in the walls. I thought that was really cool. I really liked, there was a couple behind me in the cinema, and whenever she burnt the pizza in the kitchen and there was a noise, the girl behind me just went, he's going to put her in the oven. And I thought that was brilliant, but that wasn't anything to do with the movie. So yeah, it was what it was, I would say.
Very eloquently put Zara. I would agree, and you've kind of touched on a thing for me. I think if I watched this at home, I would probably, it would try my patience much more, and I don't know whether I'd get through the end. But like you, watch it with an audience, hearing it work for some people, not work for others. Largely, I think, semi-positive for Scream 7, and I guess we wait the inevitable Scream 8. Now, as I mentioned during our review of that film, AI features within the narrative, and a couple of weeks ago I got a chance to speak to the lovely Konnie Huq about the importance of teaching school children, not just here but across the UK, about real-world skills with the technology. And here's that interview.
In the 21st century, a weapon will be invented like no other. This weapon will be powerful, versatile, and indestructible.
So that's a clip of Terminator, and it gives us a little taste. We're talking about all things AI, but we're talking about it in a positive light. And I'm delighted to say that I'm joined now by presenter Konnie Huq. Konnie, you're going to be talking to us positively about AI. There's been a lot of negative vibes out there, and I'm sure we will touch upon this, but you are here to talk about the National Innovation Challenge, about promoting real world skills for young people with AI. I've just ran through and not even got through and hello to you yet, Konnie. So hello, Konnie. And we were just discussing before this interview started whether or not you could be AI. The jury is still out.
Okay, yeah. Let me know what the conclusion is at the end of this chat, okay?
We will find out, but tell us a little bit about this challenge and your involvement with it.
Okay, so the National Innovation Challenge is a competition open to all 16-year-olds in education. So that could be sixth form or further education. And that's open nationally. And we are asking them to come up with a business idea, a concept, a prototype, an initiative that fits within the theme of sustainability and AI that can help improve our future in some way. So we want kids to get thinking, kids or young people rather, to get thinking. We need their creativity skills, we need their problem solving skills and their critical thinking. And we did a survey actually, and those are ranked among the most important future skills for the next generation, to come up with an idea that they can submit. And basically, you get to win. This prize is amazing. You get a once in a lifetime opportunity to go on an all expenses paid 2-week trip to Boston, Massachusetts in the US of A. And I should point out, there are 3 categories within this competition. So that's a lot of winners. So that's a big chunk of people that will be going on that all expenses paid trip to America, to MIT, which is like the creme de la creme of STEM thinkers and academics. And you get to present to a range of MIT departments. You'll get to attend lectures from professors. You get guidance on improving your idea or your design. And then there's a social aspect as well. You can go to a basketball match or an ice hockey match or something very American.
Has your attitudes to AI changed? And from looking at this and being involved in this program, has that played any role within shaping your own attitudes towards the technology?
So this program has really made me think about how we can work with AI for a bright and beautiful future, because I know lots of people are very scared of our AI and the capabilities. And this is the thing. If you just sort of turn a blind eye or you sweep it under the rug, then that's when things can become scary. Whereas if you're ahead of the curve and if you're in the know, then that's when you can nip things in the bud. And you mentioned grok and so on and so forth. The problem with the world we're living in is it's moving so fast. Sometimes, establishments, governments, so on and so forth, are playing catch up the whole time rather than staying ahead of the game. And it's all to do with staying ahead of the game, essentially. And that's why we need to make sure our young people do have creative and problem solving skills and critical thinking skills and are bright, brilliant individuals. Because if they get lazy and just think they can outsource everything to ChatGPT, that's when we need to start worrying.
Before I let you go, where for any young people who are watching this, listening to this, or for any parent, guardian, or anyone who knows someone who's under the age of 16 who might be interested, do the sell. Where can they find out? Where are the socials and website, and what are the deadlines?
To be in with a chance to win the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, 2 weeks at Boston's MIT, you need to go to the website, which is hruc.ac.uk. That's hruc.ac.uk. There's a QR code there. There's all the information there. You need to enter via your school or teacher. You need to be 16 and or above in education. If you're, say, 15 or a bit younger, this is an annual competition. So get thinking now, and you could have the best idea ever with a 1 or 2 year run up. The Closing date is Friday the 13th of March. We want your ideas on shaping the world of tomorrow within the theme of sustainability and AI. And it really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Connie, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. And
Thank
last but
you.
not least, I promised myself I would say this. Please tell Charlie to get back. You talked about being lazy and start doing screen wipes again.
Oh, I know. So many people say that. It's very labour-intensive, screen wipe.
I know,
That's
but
the thing. In this lazy world, labour-intensive. I'll tell him to get AI onto it, yeah?
he can outsource it to AI. Connie, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's my interview with the lovely Konnie Huq, talking to all things AI. We're going to move on now to something completely different. Another movie that's out in cinemas is Hoppers, Pixar's latest big screen outing. And I asked Conor Brennan from Q Radio to share his thoughts on the movie.
Huh? We put this into this. Yes, this into this. Mabel! Be careful! This here will rock your body.
So a big topic on our radio show this week has been beavers, all thanks to this new Disney Pixar film called Hoppers. Now, this film, it wasn't even on my radar, to be honest, until my son asked at the weekend to go to the cinema, and I checked out the listings. There it was. I watched the trailer. I thought it looked okay. I thought it was worth, going to see. And my expectations were absolutely blew out of the water. It's so good. It follows Mabel, who is an animal lover, and she uses technology to hop her consciousness into a very realistic looking robotic beaver to communicate with the wildlife. I know it sounds like Avatar. It's definitely not Avatar. That's something that they make very clear in the film. It's very like Avatar. But she explores the secret life of the animals, and she rallies them to save their habitat from Mayor Jerry. So Mayor Jerry is looking rid of all these animals. In fact, he's using really bad technology to push them all out so he can build a new road, a ring road, a beltway, they call that in the film. It's so good. It's so funny, start to finish. It's Disney Pixar, so you get those heartwarming bits in it. You get the morals and everything come through, but it's very, very sweet. It's so funny. It's hilarious. All the mums and dads and the kids. I can't remember the last time I saw my son laugh that hard during a film. Honestly, it is great. A great cast there as well. If you're looking for something to watch with the kids, anytime soon, definitely go and see it. It's a shame because we were trying to find out this week, are there beavers in Northern Ireland? Do we have them here in the wild? It looks unlikely, because if we did, this weekend, we would be spending it beaver hunting.
Rule number 1, don't be a stranger. Looking good, Fran. Tom, Laquan, Tamara, Prudence, Pete, Peter, Petey.
Yeah, it's crowded, but we're still alive.
Rule number 2, when you gotta eat, eat.
So that's Conor Brennan sharing his thoughts on all things beaver related with Hoppers. Let's move on now and talk about something that we can watch at home.
¿Está nevando?
Se espera tener perimetrado el incendio antes de que llegue la noche.
No puede haber desaparecido, ¿entiendes?
Pide no está en la cabaña.
¿Dónde está Luis? No soporto esta casa, este bosque.
¿Y no le pareció raro que estuviera sola en el bosque?
No. So that's a look at Firebreak. It's out on Netflix. Gavin, I'm going to look at you because somebody didn't do their homework this week because somebody's mother has given up on Netflix subscriptions.
Which isn't my fault.
So, Zara, this is just you and I going to be talking about this. We'll see if we set... There's a couple of points I want to come back to generally regarding the film and about Netflix and their options for watching the film. But, as I say, tense movie, we find Spanish drama, that we find a mother frantically looking for her daughter in amongst the kind of cabin in the woods mystery trope that we see in the horror movies, all while a fire is raging through the neighbourhood. What do you think of this?
Contra fuego. I really enjoyed this. Espanol, a thriller. The setting was incredible. I love a film that has metaphor in it. And this was very rich in metaphor. The characters were so brilliantly played, I thought, and I really had a lot of empathy and understanding for every character. And I think that helped me really enjoy it, because I think sometimes when I'm questioning why characters are making certain decisions, that it seems a bit left field, or it seems like not relatable or whatever. Not that this was relatable to me, but I feel like they made it in a way
I would be worried, Zara, if this was relatable,
exactly.
relatable to you.
But yeah, I think they made it in a way that felt that you could draw on why everything was happening and why characters were making certain choices. And I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
I really like this too. You know, it does that interesting thing. We think back the likes of Don't Look Now, about how grief shapes your perception, and how when you find yourself in this, you're frantically looking for someone as a parent, you find yourself looking frantically for your daughter, and how your perception of those around you, how you mistrust, how mistrust can grow and develop like a cancer. Really good film. I do think it's a little bit long, but at the same time, I didn't complain. Gavin, I know you haven't seen this. It'd be interesting to see, have we sold this to you?
No, Zara, that sounds kind of interesting.
We're both fans of the film. Gavin, we've possibly sold you on
I'll
watching
give
this.
it a go, definitely, for sure.
So yeah, that's available on Netflix now. We're going to move on, wrap up this week's show, and as always in this current series, we are continuing to champion and showcase local community cinema groups here in Northern Ireland. We're continuing with Belfast. Trust me, if there's anyone watching outside of the big smoke, get in touch and we will cast our eye upon your group. But we spoke to Ormeau Community Cinema Group about their screening of The Big Lebowski.
My rug, they really tied the room together.
I tripped on a cloud and fell 8 miles high. I tore my mind on a jagged sky. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition.
Hi, I'm Shan. I'm from Ormeau Community Cinema. We're a volunteer-led community cinema based here on the Ormeau Road, and you'll not be surprised to hear we love films. We're all about creating a space where people can come and sit with their neighbours, their family, their friends, switch their phones off and just properly share a story on the big screen. We're not a multiplex cinema. We don't have reclining seats or unlimited popcorn, but what we do have is atmosphere, conversation, and the joy of seeing great films the way they were meant to be seen, collectively. We try to programme a mix of films, cult favourites, overlooked classics, local treasures, and movies that are just a lot of fun to experience with a crowd. And the start of our 2026 season of films in the Pavilion Bar definitely falls into that last category. We are screening the Coen Brothers classic, The Big Lebowski. You'll find us on the first floor of the Pavilion on Thursday, the 12th of March. To secure tickets, just go to ormeaucommunitycinema.com and you'll find our tiered ticket system that helps us keep running the OCC for the local community. We hope to see you there. Dressing gowns optional.
I'll be there, man.
So that's Ormeau Community Cinema. They're talking about their screening of The Big Lebowski. It's happening on the 12th of March. Gives us an opportunity to shamelessly talk about The Big Lebowski. Gavin, just before we start to record, you were talking about how much you love this film. Zara, I'm just interested just to see, was this your first viewing of The Big Lebowski?
First time.
So, perfect opportunity. What do you think of the film?
I liked it. I didn't love it. Here's my thing. Okay, so the Coen brothers, my only reference of the Coen brothers is Raising Arizona, which I watched a couple of months ago. My mother loves that film. So she introduced it to me. And I mean, yeah, great screwball comedy. So funny, so quick, so witty. Really enjoyed it. Have seen Fargo, the TV series. I know it's inspired by the film, but I know that they I don't think they were involved in the TV series. Yeah, I don't know. The Coen brothers, for me, they've got that kookiness that I sometimes don't know tonally where I'm at with a film. I think halfway through The Big Lebowski, I decided to stop trying to figure out the tone and just enjoyed it, which was probably a better thing to do from the beginning. It was really funny. It was really fun. I loved John Goodman. I thought he was just so outstanding. And there was a YouTube comment. Someone said that it was the most efficient comedy ever made. Like, there's no time wasted. It's just so, there's just wit in every line. And I would agree with that. I think it was very cleverly written. And yeah, it was a very well-made film, but it just, I don't know, it was just a tonal thing for me that just meant that I maybe didn't love it as much as I thought I might.
I do love this film. What, 1998 this was released. I mean, the Coens have that kind of, they go from the serious Coen, but you think of Blood Simple, you think as well of like True Grit, and then you see their kind of screwball stuff like Raising Arizona, as you mentioned, Zara. I think the likes of the Hudsucker Proxy as well. You know, this is kind of that classic shaggy dog private investigator story, but changed with the stoner dude. Jeff Bridges, one of the most iconic roles for him. I think it has aged personally like a fine wine. It's still funny, it's still there. Do I think it's up there as the top Coen brothers films? No. I do think when you see this, that kind of screwball dynamic, it's what's not to like about the Big Lebowski. Gavin, we are nearly out of time. I get a sense that this is just going to be an opportunity for you now to wax lyrical about the Big Lebowski.
Well, I said to you before, and I would take your point, like, the first time, if this is the first time you're saying, I first saw this when I was like 12, and I didn't really get it, because I think...
Because you were 12.
Because I was 12, and because I was like, you know, Aliens is the greatest movie ever made, and it might still be the greatest movie ever made, James Cameron rules. Anyway, sorry, but it's I appreciate it more like 10 years later because it's a movie for adults, and I don't mean, I said it before, I don't mean that in any sort of pejorative sense. It's just really clever, and I think that you might, like on a second viewing, appreciate it more. But they're that kind of filmmaker where they really do, like, there's so many good gags in this, and like, you know, that's like your opinion, man. And there's just so much good stuff in it. And John Goodman is amazing.
Steve Buscemi.
And the Jesus,
John Turturro.
Oh, like,
just don't watch the sequel.
So, is it their best movie?
No.
It's I would probably
Gavin,
say
no.
No. I would probably say either Miller's Crossing or No Country, but Miller's Crossing might maybe be my favorite. But it's kind of it is sort of lovely and perfect, and yeah, The Dude Abides. No, it's a brilliant movie, and everybody should at least watch it once.
Yeah, and enjoy it with a White Russian. That's all my advice. Yeah, brilliant film, as I say. So a great way to end this week's show. So all that's left for me to do now is thank my guests here in the studio. So thank you very much, Gavin.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you very much, Zara.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for watching as well, and of course, thanks to the lovely Konnie Huq, Ormeau Community Cinema, and Connor Brennan. We'll be back next week with another episode, but for now, until then, goodbye.